So I guess we're back at it again. Another episode of Brew Detective.
Back like we never left, really.
Yeah, it's like we've been sitting at this table for the whole week just waiting for the new episode.
Brittany's back.
Bitch or something. there's a bitch there.
It.
Yeah. All right, let's just get down to brass tacks. Let's get these beers in. I almost don't want to cheers over the mixer. I feel like that's a bad idea.
Come on.
Get over here, yeah.
Are we chugging?
Yeah.
Just unfortunately.
I know.
Good lord.
Oh,
I can't do it.
I don't blame you.
I can't do it.
I don't feel good.
I'm gonna vomit.
I'll be the first one to say that I'm the worst here at drinking beer.
It's not a bad thing.
Easily.
Yeah. I wish I was worse at it because that was just a painful experience. You want another, though? I got a bag full of beers
I feel
right
like
here.
I'm Batman.
I think it's too cold for me. I think that's what's doing it. A lot of indigestion.
Waters the eyes up a little bit.
I mean, I definitely want a 420.
Dude, my eyes burn.
That was the only one.
God damn it.
I'll trade you, bro.
There's like the going coastals and shit, you know?
Oh, dude. Oh, my eyes are burning, dude. After work, like they had no water in them. All of a sudden, they have water in them after chugging. Oh, God.
All right. So, yeah, welcome to Brew Detective. We're back at it again. I'm joined once again by Brandon and Nick.
Hey.
Detective Schultz and Detective Price, you know.
Back on the case.
Back on the case once again. So we're going to talk about episode 4, Brew Detective, today. Really good episode. Kind of keeping up the same momentum of quality episodes as the season been going on. The episode is titled The Hour and the Day, which, according to Nick Pizzolatto in the little post-credit bonus feature thing, it's a biblical reference. I'm unsure of what the reference is. He said it, didn't pay attention. But yeah, it's Super Bowl week. Figured we'd drink some Sweetwaters, you know?
Atlanta.
Yeah, we're in Atlanta. We're drinking the Atlanta flagship beer.
Go figure Atlanta's hosting like one of the least like exciting Super Bowls.
Fuck the Super Bowl.
Yeah, honestly, just
Fuck the Super
it.
Bowl. Fuck the Patriots.
Yeah, if you're watching this and you like the Patriots, please unsubscribe.
All right, let's get into the episode.
You guys aren't Patriot fans? Max, watch that beer. Watch that beer, brother.
Good save.
Yes. All right, that was a bad pour, I guess. Or they're just foamy, man. We've had some issues.
They're a little foamy.
All right. Starting with the episode, opening scene, Wayne and Roland talking to the priest about the communion photo, a follow-up from the most recent episode. Roland even says himself, I don't like that priest. The priest says he took the photo. The priest says he takes all the photos. He claims that whoever did the murders, he doesn't think that they could be any part of his congregation, you know,
Of course not.
Of course not.
They couldn't.
His
be.
congregation? No.
Please.
Come on.
But he actually is helping out the investigation to a degree. I don't know what fingerprinting all those people will really do, because if the bad guy's there, he's not going to fucking stick around and get fingerprinted. That's not that great of a strategy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get good vibes from the priest either.
Yeah.
You know, like, just a sketch dude.
I meant to put on my beanie for this one.
yeah,
I
get that
know.
one.
Fuck. Little continuity error.
Oh, we're good.
We're good? How's it look? We're all right?
Yeah, you look
you're
great.
way
Man.
up.
Thanks, man.
I think though that the priest, I still think there is a pedophile ring of some sort, and then a kidnapping murder thing. And
Like two separate entities?
yeah, and the priest is probably part of the pedophile ring, but
He could be making like a Facebook for a pedophile ring with like all the kids, you know? Like,
Exactly.
pick your poison.
exactly like come look at my wonderful wall of photos and pick which one you want.
You want little Will? Yeah, well, he's right here for
I
you.
get similar vibes from the priest as I do the AG.
The Attorney
I think
General
they're
guy,
both
yes.
very, like, you know, classic, like, positions of power, very easy to manipulate people and take advantage of that position, just like they have in the previous seasons of True Detective. Like, I would not be shocked if the AG, the priest, if they were either not necessarily working together, but if they both kind of had an idea of what was maybe going on.
Like they're kind of going towards the same direction, not even necessarily with one another.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you can't count that out, but I just get a very similar vibe from both of those characters.
So the priest, you know, he's a suspect now, a new guy. Another person is the woman that he led the two detectives on who made the dolls. I forgot the character's name, but she...
The neighbor who made the dolls for the fair?
Yes,
Yeah, the old
racist lady.
Yeah. She's pretty low-key racist. I mean,
very racist.
Yeah, she literally says, like, oh, yeah, over there with all the rest of them.
Yeah,
like,
and she was like, he's attractive for a white guy. She was like, he's ugly, and then Wayne was like, is he white or black? And she was like, well, I said he was ugly. And he's like, what the fuck?
She was like... He was black, and he was like, well, like, how is he? Was he handsome, ugly? And she was like, he's black.
Yeah, she's
Wait,
racist.
so do y'all see her as a suspect? I don't see her as a suspect.
I don't see her as a suspect,
okay.
just as kind of, now we know where the dolls came from.
Yeah.
Good kind of source. From an innocent, I guess innocent as far as we can tell.
She's not, like, a bad person.
She's just a racist old lady who doesn't, she's
not a pedophile. She's not fucking...
She's just trying to sell her dolls.
Like, the guy with the scar and, like that couple, so they went to, you know how they went to go... call up on who they think that guy could be. Mm-hmm. Dude, there's no way that's the guy that everybody's talking about.
Oh, no way. That was a great scene,
way.
though. When Roland and Wayne show up to that like trailer park that's literally 100% African-American, and they are the police in an area where the police aren't welcome. And you can see Wayne, like, struggling with it. He's like, guys, like, I know I'm a cop, and, like, y'all can think of whatever, but I have to do what I have to do here. Like, it can get bloody, and Roland was ready to go.
I respect the shit out of Roland anytime, like, race is brought up, because I feel like he has a very good, like, attitude toward, like, racism. Like,
very even keel.
He acknowledges that it exists, but he's the first one to say, like, I don't give a shit what color you are, who
he
you are.
says Wayne is the best detective working the case over him, you know? And he's like, you shouldn't say that.
He's very woke. He's, like, pretty fucking woke.
Roland's probably the most woke character we've gotten in True Detective.
Yeah.
Speaking of Roland, though, he's the only character in every True Detective, though, that has, like, no problems.
Yeah, he's just a chill
well,
dude.
Yeah,
like.
we don't know. I
mean, he's a cop. He's a drinker. He might be a little womanizer to a degree. I saw something that the Miss Laurie, the woman he's talking to at the church scene.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Smoke.
I didn't... Smoke, yes, exact smoke show. Apparently, she's in the next preview as like a little picture on his bedside in the 90s.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They
maybe
get
they
together.
Get married or something, or maybe they're something.
I think she's on the desk in his office, too.
Okay.
In his police office in the 90s, there's a picture of her on the desk.
No kids, I'm guessing. We haven't heard anything about Roland having children. I feel like that would be mentioned by now. But let's talk about Wayne's children. Let's talk about his son, who I keep forgetting the kid's name. I don't know. Ray Fisher, the guy who played Cyborg in Justice League.
Have they said a name for him yet?
They have, I'm fairly certain. But it's been like quick and fast.
His name's Son.
Son. We're fairly certain, I think we talked about this, that he's connected with Eliza, the documentary lady.
Yes.
He's sleeping with her. They might be good old fucking. I don't know.
That scene where Roland or where Hayes goes to his son and meets him at the precinct.
Yes, at his son's job, which is now revealed his son's
I'm
a
like
cop.
99% sure that the son just straight up lies to his face when he asks. He's like, "Have you spoken to Eliza?" Or and he's like, "Nah, Dad, not since she was,
saying that shit."
Yeah, but it's like. It kind of seems like he may have been lying
Well,
there.
there's the 2 wine glasses in the hotel room.
Exactly.
That's
That's what I was going to say.
And he comments on, he's like, I'm sorry to drop in on you and a friend. And she's like, just me alone. Like, probably.
So, have you seen this theory floating around? Eliza is his therapist. And
he's just psycho.
And he's brought up that going over the past is
like
helping with my memory.
A training exercise for him.
She's setting up this fake documentary.
Someone just saw Shutter Island,
No, listen, because she asked him like 4 times in the episode. She's like, "Are you investigating this?"
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, and dude, I think she could. Like, how crazy would that be?
That's a big repeated line in that scene. Are you sure you're not working this? Are you sure you're not working this?
Dude, she might be his therapist, and like, dude, how?
That's an interesting theory.
That would make me sad because that would be so.
That'd be a
insane.
depressing.
That'd be so depressing.
I mean, he's starting at least this episode. There was a hallucination scene where he imagined the Vietnam stuff, which that was a great scene. We'll get into that.
Okay,
but he seems like he's kind of starting to get a little bit clearer with certain things. Like when he showed up at his son's job, like we just mentioned, when he goes to the hotel, those are incredibly like lucid moments. Like he knows what's going on there.
He has his good and bad moments. Like his bad ones are like hallucinations.
Yeah, big
and
time.
then like I mean, obviously, like, there are some parts where he's like, okay, I know where I am. I know, like, you know, when he mentions, like, he knows how to call his son. Like, that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But that night when he's, like, literally hallucinating, like, seeing shit, it's like, dude, like, your mental health is deteriorated.
Yes, before
like,
your eyes,
yeah,
literally. And he knows it, too.
What if that tape recorder of his that helps him remember stuff ends up getting in, like, the wrong hands?
Not a bad idea.
Dude, he's probably got some stuff on there that he doesn't even remember. Like, that he can't even remember.
Let's get into what he learned when he went to the hotel to talk to Eliza. Dan's bones have been uncovered. Dan was killed at some point. Maybe by Tom, maybe by Wayne, maybe by Roland. We don't know yet. Dan's bones are uncovered. Kind of goes along with what Amelia said. You left something in the woods. Maybe lines are being crossed there. I don't know.
That's what I thought for sure.
But Wayne says, after he learns that information about Uncle Dan's bones, I gotta talk to Roland.
Exactly.
I gotta talk to Roland. Like, do they need to talk to each other to cover their tracks a little bit? Do they need to talk to each other to talk about the new information? Like, what exactly does he need to talk to Roland about those bones?
I think it could be that they have to cover their tracks because obviously he wasn't, unless it was a freak accident, Dan wasn't supposed to be found.
Yeah.
But he, Roland said he was like, in the modern day time, he was like, oh, like, but what happened in 90 was way worse than what happened in 80.
Yes, that's awesome. The show is doing a really good job at revealing information, but also not revealing too much where we just stop caring. Like, the first episode, we learned that Julie Purcell is alive. So that 1980s plot of we gotta find her doesn't matter to the audience anymore. But then they give another detail that brings up something in the 90s. It's like, okay, we're focusing on that detail. And then in 2015, it's like that detail. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of, they're spoon-feeding us this information very strategically to keep our interest, you know? It's really well done.
It is. It's insanely well done.
The 3 timelines, I think, are better than just the 2 of season 1. You know, having that third, like, to kind of manipulate what we know as the audience is really interesting.
After the first episode and they show you that there's 3, I was like, come the fuck on.
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to keep up with this shit? But, like, dude, it's really good.
Let's get into the dinner scene. Amelia and Wayne's first date. It seems like the only thing...
Beer man,
yeah. Hey, Brew Detective.
Cheers.
That should be a picture of, like, on the thing
whatever.
somehow. You know, like Wayne
Yeah,
drinking
yeah,
a beer.
yeah.
That's pretty perfect. Kind of goes what we're trying to do here. Brew Detective.
Brew Detective.
So, yeah, the dinner scene between Wayne and Amelia, they sit down, they get their drinks, and then she immediately brings up the case. It's the first thing she says. Can they talk about anything other than the case and sex? Like,
I mean, I'm just convinced that she's just, like, Roland called her out on her BS, like, during the fight, like, during that fight scene, when they're kind of fighting at home.
In the 90s.
Different scene, yeah, in the 90s. But he knows that eventually, like, in the 90s, he knows that, 1, she's always trying to look for something more or better, and 2, that she's using this case to, like, propel her own career or whatever
or
it is.
ego, even.
Exactly,
You know?
and so, like, I think maybe in the 80s, that Roland, or that Hayes might not understand that yet, and he's getting little bits of it, but he can't put it together yet. Maybe he doesn't want to think that from, like, a new date, like a new person. But then when you see him in the 90s, it's like they're very honest with each other. The fight scene is very, like, realistic, and the argument is very real. Like, the shit that they say to each other is, like, shit that you would say to, like, a significant other during a fight.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, like, he knows what's going on. He knows what her interests are at that point.
Are we remembering, or are we getting told this story, like, seasons 1, or episodes 1 through 4 at this point? Is this all Wayne's recollection of it? Like, how are we getting told the story here? Is this how he remembers these things?
That's a huge question.
Because his memory's flawed, so he might be remembering them in certain ways that aren't exactly true. We don't know, like, I mean, the story could be him just thinking about it, and we're getting told these
his version of the truth, basically.
Yeah, his version of the truth. Which is including the nitty-gritty of, you know, what happened to him in the 80s. He did something that stunted his career, which the Attorney General mentions in the FBI scene.
So
in the
subtly,
90s.
right?
So subtly. Like, just calls him out right there. He's like, listen, if you didn't do this, you could be in special crime or some shit. He's like dangling the carrot.
If Roland didn't campaign for you, you'd be doing, diddly dick on the public investigation or public information desk. Like, they make it very clear that without Roland, Hayes would just be, stuck where he is.
What do you guys think Hayes did? I'm starting to lean towards he might have stood up for the death metal kid who Wayne clearly believes he didn't do it.
But see, the only thing I have against that is, like, the two feds working the case even kind of went along with, like, it's probably not him. Like, they even asked him, like, are we going with this guy?
But that attorney general is going to just want to pin him because it's an easy...
And that goes back to my point of, like, I think the attorney general is just a piece of shit who knows what's going on.
I think that attorney general is going to be, like, deep in the shit,
Absolutely.
know?
And that's why, and I have the same feeling about the priests. Like, it's just two dudes who are abusing their position.
So what I think he did, though, is in that scene with the ghosts in the end.
In the Vietnam scene in episode 4? Or the Vietnam ghost scene?
I think what he did lies in there because there's some other non-Vietnam stuff in that scene.
Really? Like what?
There was like a woman, it showed briefly with a bullet in her head.
Yes.
And then there's a dude in a suit.
Mm-hmm. I thought that might have been Roland, but I don't think it was. It looked like just a white guy almost, so it could have been.
Yeah, it could have been. He looked like he had blonde, like dirty blonde hair.
So do we think those are people that he's, like, killed?
Maybe not necessarily killed, but just grief or something like
PTSD kind of.
Yeah, PTSD memories. We might see those characters in future episodes, just as characters.
I think that's why they showed us. I really, really hope we get a scene of him in Vietnam.
We will.
Going through the woods.
I'm sure we will.
I want it so bad.
Dude, they were talking big time in, like, the first and second episode. I was like, dude, I gotta see him lerping,
Yes, absolutely. So in the 90s, Wayne and Roland are back together again. They're reopening the case, but there's kind of a clear power struggle. Yeah, power struggle between them right now.
Get it out. Come on, you got this. Get it out.
Pound your chest.
There you go.
Right. But yeah, Roland and Wayne kind of have an interesting little power struggle right now because Roland's clearly the lead of the investigation, and that's been made abundantly clear by everyone, the higher-ups and Roland himself. And you can see that in the meeting where Roland's talking and Wayne just kind of has a little line here and there. He's opening his big mouth, which is what Roland said got him in trouble in the first place. So it's good character development. We see Wayne, like, kind of who he is, he's going to speak his mind.
I love how I think it was the attorney general, whatever, when they were all in Roland's office and Hayes was getting brought
Reamed
back
out,
on.
yeah.
He was like, so we're going to do all that, okay? And then he walks out, and then Wayne's like, oh, we're doing all that, and Roland's like, wasn't planning on it.
Roland had a couple good lines. God is love, brother. God is love. That's an all-timer.
That scene that you just talked about when he was, like, basically going against what the AG said, like, why else would the Attorney General want to make the whole purpose of their reopening of the case to pin it on the original conviction? Like, they say that the whole objective of this task force that is reopening the case is to confirm what they already knew in the 80s, even though what they knew in the 80s was not correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, dude, it's like all the red flags are up on this guy. Like, this guy is not interested in finding out the truth.
Right.
He's just not.
Was he the guy on the TV, though?
Yes.
That made the announcement?
Yes.
I knew that guy was dirt since then.
He made the announcement alerting the whole town. He didn't run the reward through Wayne and Roland at all.
Then he went on that TV show.
He went on that TV show. He then became the Attorney General. Like, this guy is bad. It has, like we've said, Tuttle vibes written all over it. This guy is bad news. I would be very shocked if he wasn't involved in some way. But
some way.
This season's been taking a little bit of a diversion. Like,
yeah.
We theorized pretty heavily that episode 4 would have the big action scene payoff.
And it basically did.
It didn't.
But episode 3 really set that up. Like, it set us up to think that. Like,
and I like it. I feel like they know they're kind of toying with expectations now because this season is under such a microscope.
I know.
Only because of season 2, though.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
I feel like it wouldn't have that, like, intensity of, like, people's expectations had season 2 not necessarily flopped, because I don't think it did, but just so different, like very different.
No, absolutely.
The Attorney General really makes me believe that my main theory is there's two separate things going on, like some kind of pedophile ring or child slavery ring or something, and then the murders. and the attorney general, all that stuff, he might be a little bit involved, but I don't think it's with the missing kids.
Okay.
I think that's my thought.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I mean, the murder of Will could literally be an accident. Like, we're kind of led to believe that with the metal-haired kid who has. That's a great interrogation scene.
Amelia also asked Hayes straight up, could Will's death have been an accident? Like, she has a line in there where she's like, could he have just...
I think that's the opening line of the dinner scene.
Yeah, it was like very... Yeah, I
You
think so.
shit-heeled twerp.
Yeah, so Wayne loves the prison rape descriptions.
I love that shit.
They should show that shit to, like, high schoolers. Be like, you don't want to go to jail.
Dude, that scene like
Yeah.
had me sweating. I was like, I don't
know.
ever want to be in an
Like,
interrogation room.
fuck, we need to flush all the weed.
To LaGrange, too.
Eat it.
Yeah,
He's like,
no.
he's like, you want this big black cock boy or something
Yeah,
like that?
no,
It's like,
exactly.
good Lord.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So I'm thinking that Wayne is going to go against everyone's force to pin the murder onto that boy. And he will get West Memphis 3'd, and it will be the
Yeah.
whole nod of the head to actual history, that
I agree, yeah.
sort of thing, which makes sense because all they're talking about in 90 is that, they picked the wrong guy. They pinned the wrong thing on him.
I mean, are they really going to go with that kid? All they have is Prince on a bike. Like,
They-
his story was more or less believable. Like, I didn't really have any doubt that he didn't do it. Like, I was like, he didn't do it.
No, I don't think he did it either, but on paper, it's very easy
That
to, pin it
reminds
on
me.
him,
I remember I had this thought. I think I brought it up on one of the last ones that Will and Julie Purcell, they're two things. Will's murder and Julie's kidnapping are two completely different things.
Yeah.
And dude, when the metalhead kid, I'm good right now, maybe in a minute, but that metalhead kid, he was looking for his sister, and right then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they are unrelated, bro. At least to a certain extent.
Julie might have been out playing D&D with her aunt, and Will might have been trying to hang out with those metal kids. Because, like the boys said, the metal hair kid, he said, Will was a nerd. He would always, come out and, try to mess with us or something, I think it's pretty reoccurring that maybe Will would try to fit in with those boys, and
Makes sense.
the boys would just fuck with them, and, they were drinking, so they took his bike and rode his bike and all that. And I could see them, persecuting the kid, all that. But in 90, I'm fairly certain they said that the person that they convicted, their family is the one trying to overturn it, like their children. I'm pretty sure they said
So
children.
it couldn't have been that kid.
That's what I'm thinking. That boy's too young, you know? That boy's too young to have kids.
But when did you infer that it was his children and not maybe his parents?
No,
or
I
something?
think they say children.
Oh, okay, explicitly.
And now this
okay.
could be 1,000% wrong, but that's how I remember it. They're saying
Gotcha.
his children are
Okay,
trying to revoke
okay.
it or overturn it or
I mean,
whatever.
then it's more. It's not him.
So then is it the trash guy?
he
Because, dude, he booby-trapped the fuck out of his yard.
He
That's
was
He's got
like,
kids. They're alive.
he
They're
was
with his
more or
wife.
less though alienated from his family. So something tells me they wouldn't. I mean, maybe they would, but
Maybe.
the way the
Maybe.
relationship was described is that they were kind of more or less history.
Yeah.
Like they're not really
Yeah.
a family or anything like
Something
that.
tells me Trash Man's gonna die.
I mean, they did say, well, we all know what happened with him.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna.
Let's talk about that final scene. I think we're there.
But I got one more thing I want to bring up.
Go.
So, I was really thinking during that episode that Amelia was the murderer again, because she's so quick to bring up the case and everything, and then she's fucking with Roland's emotions, like she's
Wayne.
with Wayne's emotions. She's like,
Well, she uses sex to,
exactly.
to get out or
And
get
even
whatever
before
she
that,
wants.
she walks away, but then when he tries to walk away, she's like, wow, all you do is walk away. It's like, well, you literally just did that.
That's just women.
That's just classic argument.
That's just a good old-fashioned argument
Dude,
right
she's
there.
so controlling of him and stuff, I feel like. But so I thought it could have been her until she went and talked to the mother.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that scene. Great
That's
bringing that up. Yeah.
huge, bro.
So that scene where she goes and talks to Lucy Purcell is revealing for a couple different things. It lets Amelia kind of show us more of her hand that she is trying to work this case a bit, trying to warm up to her new detective boyfriend, trying to do something.
Maybe not even trying to warm up. Like, she might have just been using that facade of, oh, he's my boy. Like, like that we're in a relationship, but really it's just her playing both of them, kind of playing the middle.
That's what I got.
You know,
Yeah.
like kind of playing both sides.
Her own game.
She has her own agenda.
Like she might pretend like, hey, I'm, like you should talk to Detective Hayes, but really she's the one there trying to get information from her.
Definitely.
Probably not to disclose it to Wayne, but to Hayes, but to fucking keep it for herself and take what she will from the investigation. Like,
a big line from that scene, Lucy Purcell says to Amelia, children should laugh. She says that to her. This is a house where there wasn't a lot of laughter, whatever. She was like, children should laugh. That line is in the ransom note that they were given. Yeah, shout out Reddit for that one. Probably would have picked up on that.
I know.
That's huge.
But it did get me thinking, though, that she probably knows the aunt. Well, obviously, she was.
Do you think the aunt's the uncle? Maybe maybe a cross dresser.
I mean, dude, ever since is it the
knows?
second episode when they kind of like when Roland I guess Roland is talking to the parents and Hayes goes to the bookshelf and sees like the family photos, and that's when they discover Will with
That's the third episode.
Okay, the third episode. So after that episode, I was like, the parents 1000% know way more than that what they're letting on.
Yes.
Like, I'm not saying they're suspects or they kill their kids, but
Yes.
they're also not disclosing everything they know about their relationship with their kids and how their family functioned to the detectives who are trying to like find out what happened to their kids.
And
Like,
that's a big reveal in the
Yeah, it's
Amelia
huge.
Lucy scene because Lucy kind of lets on that she's not saying everything,
Well,
like,
remember when she was creeping in the mirror when they went back to the house?
absolutely, yeah.
kind of creeping on what they were doing, like the detectives.
Lucy
like,
knows more. It's going to tie into her brother Dan.
Exactly, it definitely will.
There's going to be something
There's
there.
something there with like Hoyt Foods, how
Yeah,
I think
Hoyt
it was you
Foods is
brought up how
interesting.
I think it was I forgot the guy's name, but the guy who they originally thought may have done it, the guy who was like a pedophile.
LaGrange.
Yeah, LaGrange.
Yeah.
How like his outfit matched like the Hoyt Foods uniforms and shit. Like there's something there with her employment at Hoyt Foods, and there's something like funky there.
I agree. Hoyt Foods we're not done with yet.
No, I don't think so.
Tom Purcell and Roland, that was a great scene. We're slowly getting revealed how good of a guy Roland actually is.
Dude,
And I think how
yeah.
Tom is just an innocent dude who's like broken to shit about this
Yeah.
whole thing. I mean, that guy is genuinely a broken person at this point. I have no doubt that like he is just genuinely upset and shocked by it. Like, I don't think there's anything like.
You think they kill Uncle Tom with Tom?
With
like,
kindness?
you think all three of them kill Uncle Tom, and like that's why the scene where Roland goes to his house later and he's like all religious.
Maybe
Wait,
Tom.
Uncle Dan?
Yes, excuse me.
I was like,
Tom.
Uncle Tom.
Maybe,
Tom.
Maybe Tom. Maybe Tom is the
No
one.
way.
Maybe Tom is the one who kills
Dan.
and they cover it up
Yes.
for him.
Yes.
Oh, dude.
Definitely.
That'd be huge.
Ba, ba, ba.
Yes, no, exactly. I don't think that that's unreasonable at all. We're seeing that Tom is broken. They've been letting us know over and over again that he is like drastic
And brought back from something.
Yeah, I mean, and Roland helps him with something, and I think it was more than what we just saw.
Yeah.
Roland's
know?
a G, dude. Roland was genuinely like looking out for him.
He's looking out for Wayne in the '90s, maybe out of guilt, maybe not.
I think
don't
he
know.
like personally is like my favorite character of this season.
Oh,
It's awesome.
I really like Roland a
Dude,
lot.
are we gonna go through the Steven Dorff filmography when this season's done? Because we're already
I'm down.
halfway through the season. The season's halfway done. There's only 4 more episodes.
I don't think he's ever been in anything like as much as he has this.
No, dude. The last thing he's done are like those blue cigarette ads. I'm pretty sure.
Oh God.
No.
Nice.
I know.
But dude, I wanted to cry when he was like smoking a cigarette, watching Tom sleep on his couch. I was
Yeah.
I was
Good
like,
guy.
damn. I was like, damn, this guy like feels for him.
Let's talk about the scene in the car where Scoot McNairy shows off he is like one of the like greatest character actors like today. Like I said this I think in the first episode, he elevates like every scene that he's in. And episode 4 like displayed that even further, where he's in the car and he like calls Wayne the N-word and then is like, I should not have said that. And he's like you can just see the regret
He feels
and like
so bad about it.
yeah,
He
and
feels
I mean
really bad about that.
for them to show how remorseful he was, I think that like Tom is a character that we already know can be saved because we've seen him in 1990 as his life has changed drastically.
Do you think? I think it was in the previous episode or maybe episode 2 when they kind of reference how like Tom says like Roland like pulled me out.
Of that
do you,
hole.
Do you think that night in the episode 4
No, because he said 5 years ago.
Gotcha.
So it has to be in
85.
85. It has
Okay.
to be another point. I think that they kill fucking Uncle Dan. Tom can't handle it even more. Goes off the deep end even further. Roland is like, dude, if you fuck this up, you fuck us up. So I'm gonna fix you up and get you all good.
Because
Just a theory.
I agree
Just
with
a
that though,
theory.
because I can see Hayes and Roland, or like Hayes just in general, covering it up for Tom if Tom were to kill him. I can't see Hayes like killing the uncle out of like rage or cold blood. Like,
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of get away from
I
that
don't
one
think
myself.
that he's. I still think that first scene in the very first episode is so telling of like who
With
he
the
is.
fox.
Yes, like I just don't think that he's the type of guy who would like shoot someone in the back or something.
I think we might see that scene though, and it be like reversed. Like I would be very interested to
1000%.
see
That's
over the
coming
course
back.
of the season the roles reverse in that, and like what happens to Wayne, and whatever happens to Roland, and leads them to that. Like,
I want to see where Roland gets that limp.
oh,
Speaking of,
all right. So let's get into that
yeah.
fucking biggest cliffhanger. Oh my god, that was so frustrating.
I hated that.
I kind of liked it.
I liked
got
it
me-
too,
It just, it's like that carrot on the string where it's like I'm gonna like.
This was an amazing detail-loaded episode that like taught us so much. I guess I'm okay with it not having like a blockbuster action movie finale that we all wanted. You know, that'll come
the
next
first
episode.
time I watched the episode, I was like, "That was pretty good." But the
Yeah.
second time I watched it, I was like, "Whoa,
It's a
this is
good
one of the
episode.
best ones of the season."
It is.
Even though, despite the cliffhanger and getting kind of
Oh,
like,
dude, we're only mad about the cliffhanger because we have to wait. If we
Right,
didn't, if it was a,
that's
released
exactly
them
what
all
they
at once.
want. They want to keep us waiting. They're like, "You're gonna come back next Sunday."
I
right?"
know, and we are, man. So I
1,000.
think we're kind of all in agreement that the season's on an upward trajectory. You know, it's
It's like
looking
still
good.
getting to its climax. Like
Right.
we're not there yet. Like
Right.
we're still building up.
We were afraid it was gonna fall off after the first 2 episodes because
oh, the director, yeah.
Paul Bunyan, whatever his name
yeah.
Paul, and
Was
his
done
blue
directing.
ox and his fucking dragon.
is. Whoever directed the first 2, we were
Jeremy
like,
Saulnier, the guy that
He
did
left,
Green
right.
Room and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, Blue Ruin, there we go.
Blue Ruin, exactly.
Paul Bunyan. But yeah, we were all afraid it was gonna fall off. But dude, I mean, I can't even tell different directors.
The only
now.
thing I've noticed about like the way it's shot is the transitions. I think the transition scenes in like the first 2 episodes where it goes from like the 80s to 90s or
Right.
Hayes' memory, they do it like differently.
Yeah, those at least like the moon light change in between I think 80 and 2015. We haven't been getting those kind of smooth transitions, which is
Yeah.
fine. I mean,
Oh no, it was just one of those subtle things I noticed that is probably like a directorial
definitely.
you know, like,
yeah,
thing.
definitely. You can tell that like the episodes are just a little different in
Right,
style and
exactly,
transitions,
exactly.
editing, that sort of thing.
I know we're not usually getting nitpicky about this cinematography stuff, but like some of the time changes did feel a little choppy from like 80 to 90 and stuff. I was like, wait, like
Yeah, I'm
all of a
on
sudden-
board with it now because
Pay attention to the hair. You said it
The
best.
hair.
Yeah,
Pay
the hair
attention to the
says
hair.
it best.
Yeah.
like the hair is the most like
telltale sign.
what is it, constant indicator, you know?
Yeah.
Or like the jackets.
Let's just talk about the
let's talk about-
jackets,
Shout out
man.
to Roland and his just fantastic
Oh my
dress.
God,
like
man.
whoever did the wardrobe on this show, can I please call you up?
Tops.
And you know, like Queer Eye for the Straight
Yeah,
Guy type
can
thing.
they Queer Eye
Can
us?
you look at my closet and please tell me what I need to do better?
Yeah.
Guy's a pimp when he throws those sunglasses on. I'm like,
Oh,
God
yeah.
damn.
Yeah. All right.
Should we talk about the end, like or do?
Yeah, I mean, let's. I guess let's keep going on the cliffhanger. So, the cliffhanger ending, we saw Trash Man set up his yard full of booby traps, which is good and bad for him. You know, booby traps are illegal, and someone, Roland could maybe get hurt. That maybe is.
Having a claymore in your house is frowned
Yeah.
upon.
Yeah, you
These
definitely
days,
don't
you
want a
that.
claymore.
But it's safe to say that Roland gets shot probably in this shoot.
Or shot, shrapnel,
What-
something,
yeah,
ricochet.
yeah,
He
some-
gets
something-
shot.
yeah,
like, something.
And I remember we theorized in an earlier episode that maybe he was in a coma during when something went down. What if we're about to see that? What if he overflow almost? But what if Roland gets really fucked up? I mean, obviously his face isn't all fucked up.
Well, I don't think he'll get that fucked up. I mean, they show that he has a limp, which they show that pretty heavily. Like, he has a severe limp in the
They
90s.
didn't
I
show
wouldn't
it,
be surprised-
and then they did.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
he didn't
surprised-
have it, and then he did.
I wouldn't be shocked though if Roland like goes unscathed. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Roland and Hayes go unscathed in that scene with like
Maybe that's not the
that would
shootout,
yeah
you
that
know?
wouldn't shock me because they show up late. The booby trap goes off in front of the guy's face on the front door. Like
That
I mean,
guy's dead.
unless it was accidental, where the trash man maybe like accidentally shoots one of the detectives or something. I don't see like Roland or Hayes like being in the line of. I mean, they're there, but I don't see like. I'm trying to think about how they could have gotten hurt in this situation because.
Well, dude, I mean, bullets flying.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
they pulled in
In
the
a TV show,
driveway.
bullets flying.
There was 7 guys in the front yard, and the dude in the house with like an AK-47. Like there's
Like
about
9
to be,
AK-47s.
There's about to be a massive shootout, and they
Yeah.
they pulled into as soon as they pulled in the driveway. I was like, y'all couldn't have just pulled into the street. Like y'all had to go in the driveway. Like you're about to get your shit rocked. Like,
I think they do a good job of like capitalizing or like displaying how everyone in the community is so paranoid and fearful. Like these people are picking on a guy who is an easy target because he's kind of like a bum. Like he hangs around the community. He doesn't really have a job. Like he's not like anyone else. He's kind of an outsider. He doesn't hang around kids, but he definitely interacts with the children of the community, and it makes those people incredibly uncomfortable.
Definitely.
And like that uncomfortableness eventually leads them to just straight up violence. And I think that is like, along with like the way that they portray racism, is very realistic to how people feel like even today about things. Like how there's like this sense of
mob mentality.
yeah, and like
us
the
versus them.
outsider, and just how if you're not with us, like it's scary, and we have to be against you, and like we will use violence. Like I think that's like a commentary on modern day.
I hope that Roland and fucking Wayne light those rednecks up because what they're doing is
Fuck those
fucked
guys.
up.
Yeah,
Fuck
dude.
that.
It's illegal.
I mean, honestly, at what point is that guy just defending himself? Like a whole mob of people armed
The
to the
booby
teeth
traps.
come to his house. I would want to set up fucking booby traps. Why is that guy? Why would that guy be fucking punished for that? Like he's getting harassed by a mob of people with guns.
Yeah, who have threatened his life
I think
already.
he's well within his rights to protect himself. I mean, maybe not blow people up, but
Well, maybe he clips Roland, and that's why they pin the murders on him,
yeah.
you know? And then it's just the classic, like, it's so easy for them,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And that might probably be what happens, you know? The theory, but they've made it clear that Roland gets shot, something happens with the trash man, someone goes to jail, and I think that someone's children tries to get that someone out of jail. So, right now, Trash Man makes the most sense.
as the guy they pin it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we gonna see like I mean, obviously they're gonna keep showing bits of the '80s, but are we gonna see like? Are we gonna get like mostly like what happened in the '80s, like after this next episode?
I think they might like kind of just move on to the '90s because they've been
Yeah.
kind of pushing that the '90s are even more fucked up than what happened in the
Like
'80s.
what happened in the
so-
'80s? The death and wait, Julie. They noticed Julie became alive in the '90s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Will dies in the '80s. They try to pin it on somebody. Boom. 10 years later, oh, she's alive. Fuck. Like they're gonna like next episode we'll probably figure out who they're gonna pin the murders on, either the kid or the trash man, and then boom. Now we're in the '90s. Like
One last thing, y'all think we're gonna meet Julie Purcell in this series? Y'all think we're gonna actually have a scene with adult Julie Purcell where she talks to someone?
I think when they showed her and like they showed the freeze frame of her in the was it the drugstore,
Walgreens or whatever,
Walgreens,
yeah.
whatever. I think that was like, yeah, we're gonna get her. Like we're
Okay.
gonna see her.
I
At
think
first, when they showed that scene, I was like, is that fucking Amelia? Because like you don't really see that first. So I was like, obviously, like it's not. But
Yeah.
like you get a glimpse, and I was like, dude, if that's Amelia, I'll
Yeah,
shit my
yeah,
pants.
yeah.
It wasn't, but I was like, is it her? I was freaking out.
I think that videotape is all we're gonna see of her
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting theory.
ever again.
I think we're gonna get a scene with her like talking.
You think it'll be a happy ending with?
No. Dude, True Detective doesn't end happy. I mean, season 1, I guess, sort of did, but not even really.
This
The happy
season's
ending is when
fucking
she's
with me.
alive and they're like, "Oh, we got her. We found her."
I feel like this season is like a Venn diagram of a lot of like suspects and like interests in people, and it's like where does it all overlap? Because it's like you got the trash man, you've got the metalhead kid, you've got the AG, you've got the priest. Like where do these people all come together and like because like really they don't interact with each other at all. Like
That's called being a detective.
exactly like the guy that they go talk to in the trailer park, like that guy doesn't go to the priest's church.
Right.
Like these people don't interact with each other on a daily basis, but like there's got to be some sort of overlap, whether they know it or not, that like they're kind of feeding into each other, and that's kind of where like that's like the money shot right
Yeah,
there. It's like
yeah.
where do they all meet in the middle? That's where we're gonna find out like all the juice.
I think that's a good place to end it there. We have a lot of different, like you said, names and organizations and stuff that are all kind of overlapping. We don't really know what's going on yet. But yeah, so that was Brew Detective episode 3 covering...
Four, right?
Well, Brew Detective
yes,
episode
yes,
3,
yes.
yeah. So Brew Detective episode 3 covering the True Detective episode, The Hour and the Day. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Brandon and Nick, for being on once again.
Thank
Of course.
If you guys could give us a 5-star review on iTunes, a follow on YouTube, a like, a subscribe. I can't believe I'm fucking actually saying that.
like button. Smash it.
Yeah, can't believe I'm actually saying that shit now, but, here we are. All right, cheers, guys. Thank you.
Woo!